A society to have order and to protect its citizens must have rules. Rules or laws are created and agencies are formed to enforce the rules. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Our judicial system, our courts, have the task of determining guilt. When guilt is found, the courts mete out the consequences. If we follow the rules of our society, we may never have to face the bar of justice inside a criminal courtroom. Join us now as we see an actual Lake County court in session.
You will all rise. Lake County Court is now in session. Honorable Judge Donna F. Miller presiding. Please be seated. Court will come to order.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Miller. Could all of you, including visitors, please raise your right hands? Do each of you raise your right hand, please? Other right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this you do under the pains and penalty of perjury? Okay, thank you. Put your hands down. Each of you has a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. When you get to the microphone, I need to know if you're under 18. I need to know if you're not a citizen of the United States because pleading today could affect your immigration status. I need to know if you're on probation or parole because pleading today could affect your probation or parole status. If you plead today, you're giving up your right to have a trial and to have an attorney represent you at that trial. If I sentence you today on a criminal case, you have to go down to room 105 and either pay the mandatory costs or sign up for the payment plan. Today, we're being videotaped and tape recorded. Okay, this is in custody. Yeah. Lou Rankin. Miss Rankin, I remember now, you were in a group home.
But I don't want to go back there.
You had a...
Donna, her relative and Keante.
Yes, and we put it off till this week so that you can... Okay, and come on up, please. And we put it off till this week because you were making certain arrangements. Okay, Mr. Sandor, we had worked something out last week. We were going to ROR her and continue it for...
Unfortunately, Miss Mahaney was here last week. I was not. So I didn't have any notes except for the fact that they would be returning to court today.
Right. What did we agree to do last week?
To let her go and then get her this today.
And
I didn't have a place for her last week. I was moving into a new home for her.
All right, so apparently since... But what are we doing with the charges? Were we going to sentence her today? Are we going to continue it? Was I appointing the public defender?
Your Honor, I think we should appoint a public defender. The state's concerned as to whether or not she's confident enough to take a plea.
Well, my recollection is that we were going to continue it for 6 months, and if there were no further instances, we were going to drop it, rather than spend so much on the state's money to decide that issue. And there are no notes in your file.
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to give her a new court date without appointing the public defender today. But my recollection is we said we'd ROR her to you today and continue it 6 months, and if there were no further law violations, we'd see if we dismiss it. That's my recollection, but I'm not writing that down because I'm not sure. We'll listen to the tape and see what we agreed to. So we're giving her a new court date on November 7th. I'm not appointing the public defender at this time, and you'll need to bring her back and we'll know then what we're going to do.
Okay.
All right, do you know who this is?
Yes.
Who's that?
My nephew.
And you're going to go stay with him?
Yeah.
And you promise you'll stay there?
Yes.
You promise you won't hit anybody?
No.
Promise?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to ROR her, ROR to, tell me your name again? Your name?
Mansfield.
Mansfield?
Yes, ma'am.
ROR to nephew Mansfield.
And this was a state worker right here.
Oh, okay.
I'm Charlena Kinsler, and I'm her case manager from APD, Persons with Disability.
All right, could you stay in touch with us?
Yes.
And do you have a card? No?
On me.
Okay, could you give the prosecutor your name and telephone number? And when court's over and we have time to go listen to last week's tape, we'll regroup.
Thank you.
Okay, ROR to nephew Mansfield. Defendant must remain with him, is how I'm going to put this. She's going to stay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
With him. If she leaves you, that's a violation of her ROR and she goes back to jail.
Okay.
All right, Miss Rankin, Mr. Mansfield's trying to help you, so you stay with him and no hitting, and we'll see you in, when would the new court date be?
Did you say 6 months, Your Honor?
PNC. No, we're not doing the 6 months. We're just doing the regular PNC sentencing.
Okay.
Okay, regular PNC sentencing, not guilty for now. All right, see you in a month, yes, January 3rd.
I can stay with him, right?
You have to stay with him until you see me again.
Okay.
Even if he makes you unhappy, you have to stay with him until you see me again. Keante Dorch, please. Mr. Dorch, you are charged with a battery and obstruction. Mr. Sandor,
Your Honor, for Mr. Dorch, it's an adjudication of guilt, 12 months of probation, with the possibility to early terminate to run concurrent on both counts. Once he completes 12 hours of anger management, provides us with 20 hours of community service or a $200 fine, and has no violent victim contact. Additionally, the Eustis Police Department is seeking $70 in investigative costs.
now this one bothers me a whole lot more. There's a baby that's involved with all this tussling. She has the baby in her arms and he pushes her to the ground, puts the baby on the couch. He punched her in the head, pushed her to the floor, allegedly. How old is the baby?
10 months.
And that's the only child?
I got 2.
Were both of them there? Okay, so only the 10-month-old baby was there. And the officer said the baby wasn't hurt. Okay, if you want to accept the state's offer today, they've had more time to study it than I have. I will leave it as what the state offered today, although it certainly seems generous. But after today, it won't be that generous. If you want to plead today, it's 12 hours of anger management and 20 hours of community service, or you could buy that out for $200. You may have contact with the victim, but no violent contact.
Plead not guilty.
Okay, you're to have no contact with the victim. At this point, you can't call, you can't write, you can't live with the victim. You're not staying with her. Okay, whether you have contact with the children or not is not part of this order, but you can't have any contact with her. Are you able to afford a private attorney, or do you need the public defender?
I get a PD.
I can't hear you.
I get a public defender.
How much do you make a week?
9.
Why aren't you working?
Now,
Why aren't you working?
because I got fired from my other job, and I'm currently not working.
How long ago did you get fired?
Last month,
Okay, so you're not supporting your children at this point.
how can I?
What?
How can I, and I'm not working?
Okay, so you're going to be ending up in jail for not paying child support then. But at this point, I'll appoint the public defender. You need to try to find a job before you get picked up for not paying child support, and absolutely no contact with the alleged victim. All right, PD, could you explain to him? Howser, Courtney Howser to the microphone, please. Mr. Sandor, Courtney Howser. All right, the officers are trying to investigate something. They say, wait over there, and you keep getting closer and closer, and you say, I'll wait here. And they say, no, go wait over there while we take care of this scene. You say, no, I'm going to stay right here. So they were having to spend time dealing with you instead of with the situation. And that's why they charged you with resisting or obstructing. Mr. Sandor, any history?
No, Your Honor, the state is offering a withhold with probation in this case. with early termination upon.
Whoa, why wouldn't we do PTI since you just told me there's no history?
Your Honor, we go back and forth with officers on whether we accept PTIs on resisting cases due to officer safety and other reasons. Officers do sometimes approve 4 PTIs in certain circumstances, this not being one of them. The state's offer is a withhold of adjudication, 6 months of probation with early termination upon completing either 20 hours of community service or a $200 fine.
All right, they're not willing to do pretrial intervention. Pretrial intervention, the case gets dismissed when you do the conditions. Because you endangered officers, they want this to stay on your record. So the offer is $200 or 20 hours of community service. You can say not guilty and talk to an attorney if you wish.
I'll just take it. I'll just take what I have.
Okay, so you'll have 6 months. Oh, okay, you'll have 6 months to pay $200 to do 20 hours of community service, no new law violations, and you have to go to room 105 and sign up for the payment plan. And next time you'll be more cooperative with law enforcement, right?
So it was just like kind of a big misunderstanding. I was there to actually get somebody out of trouble, and I guess I got in their way and they got aggravated.
That's what you're charged with. They wrote that you were there to pick someone up, and they said, stay there till we get this worked out, and you wouldn't back up.
I know, I just kept trying to explain my story. I just should have shut my mouth and backed up, but you know.
Okay. Steuart Troder. Mr. Troder, you are charged with marijuana and paraphernalia. Mr. Sandor, this is Steuart Troder.
Yes, Your Honor. With regard to Mr. Troder, the state's offer is an adjudication of guilt, 90 days in the Lake County Jail suspended to run concurrent on both counts upon completion of the following: a payment of a $200 fine per count for a total of $400, completing a drug evaluation and any treatment recommended, providing 2 clean urine screens at least 30 days apart, and committing no new law violations, all to be done within the next 180 days. Additionally, if he fails to provide proof that he has completed his drug evaluation and treatment recommended, the state will request that his driver's license be suspended for 2 years.
So you wouldn't be on probation. You'd have 6 months to complete everything. But if you don't complete it, it's 90 days in jail. No jail unless you fail to complete. If you fail to complete, your license will get suspended.
Not guilty.
Okay, are you able to afford a private attorney, or do you
No,
need?
I have a private attorney.
Okay, you're entering a not guilty plea and will secure your own attorney. We'll get you your new court date. Thank you. Next is Randall Albert. Mr. Albert, you're charged with attaching a tag not assigned. Where'd you get the vehicle?
I just bought it in Alabama.
Okay, you'd recently bought it in Alabama and drove it to Florida.
Yeah.
Once you bought the vehicle, you had to have it tagged and registered in your name. And once you brought it back to Florida, you had to change it to Florida tags. So it's very tricky to get a vehicle in another state. But as soon as you got here, you should have gone to the tag office.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you fixed it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you show the prosecutor, please?
Your Honor, he has fixed his tag. The state would be willing to amend to a civil.
Oh, good. All right, so we'll change it to a civil no tag, so it won't be criminal anymore. But you were in Florida driving without a valid Florida tag.
Yes, that's what I got attached for.
Well, we're changing it from a criminal to a civil. Okay?
I'm not sure what that means, ma'am.
Criminal charge you can go to jail for. We're changing it to just a, do you know what an expired driver's license is if you didn't?
Yeah, I've learned about that recently.
What?
Yeah, I've learned about that.
Okay, well, you can have an expired driver's license, let's say it's been expired for a long time, that's criminal. If it's just been expired for 2 months, it's civil and you just pay a ticket. If it's for a long time, you can go to jail, you have to go pay mandatory costs, it's on your criminal record.
Can I ask a really quick question?
Yes,
Everything that I received a ticket for is absolutely true. I did have the wrong tag assigned to the car. I was unaware of that. I bought the car from a private owner. They signed over the title to me, bill of sale, and since I worked for the man, he told me that he registered the car and I could register when I get to Florida. So when I was pulled over, that license plate wasn't, it was to a 64 Impala. I did not know.
Okay, let me tell everybody this part. Anytime you buy, sell, or trade a used vehicle with a private person, you need to have that other person meet you at the tag office. The tag office will help you get all the paperwork done and you won't end up here. That's a problem when it's out of state. Technically, you should have towed it to Florida, and then when you got to Florida, put a tag on it. That's a little cumbersome, but you should not have driven the car here, titled in your name, registered in someone else's name. That's where the problem is. What if you'd had an accident?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, he would have still been responsible, and the vehicle's not registered in your name. So, because you fixed it, and because we don't think you did it on purpose, the state is willing to change it to a civil ticket. You were wrong to bring it to Florida with his tag on it
Yes.
when you owned the car.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But I appreciate how quickly you fixed it. Oh, no. The officer had warned you about it 8 days before and said to fix it.
Well, what happened?
No, the officer stopped you 8 days before and said, fix it. And you drove anyway before it got fixed. So that's generous of the state to be willing to change it. All right, if you plead today, I'll change it to a civil, but that's as good as it's gonna get.
What does a civil and what is
You
that?
have a seat. When I'm finished with everyone, I'll explain it to you. Have a seat. Have a seat in the back because we have a while to go. All right, Danel Finlandson.
He's not on the docket. Your Honor, he's not on the docket. He's on the add-on sheet.
All right, Mr. Finlandson, you are charged with an expired license more than 6 months. You have a Texas driver's license. Okay, have you fixed your driver's license?
No, not yet, ma'am. I have a modification in court date in Massachusetts for back child support, so that's why I couldn't get a.
So you have an issue in Massachusetts, an
Right,
issue
so
in Florida, and
couldn't-
you live in Texas.
Right.
What were you doing in Florida?
Well, my daughter moved back here. She signed with Adidas, and her trainer's up in Claremont. So I was helping her drive down the highway from my grandmother's house from Lake City, and I guess he said I was going a little bit too fast or whatever. So I explained to him everything about my license and everything. And
Well, you knew you weren't allowed to be driving.
yes.
They could have taken you to jail. You knew you were not allowed to drive because you had the issue in Massachusetts. All right, Mr. Sandor, your recommendation is the $200 fine, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Finlandson, if you enter a no contest plea, you would have 6 months to pay a $200 fine, but it is criminal. You have to go to room 105 and sign up for the payment plan or pay that amount. And no new crimes within 180 days.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a deal?
Yes, ma'am.
And you still haven't fixed it?
I have to wait. Well, the court date, they're doing a modification on it, so in the process, all I can do is get an ID right now.
All right, if you get 3 of these within a 5-year period, Tallahassee takes your license for 5 years and you go to jail. Okay, don't get any more. All right. Tyler Richard Sinks. Actually, this was charged as an expired, so that isn't enhanceable. So he doesn't have to worry about being habitualized. You don't have to worry about being habitualized, but you do have to worry about going to jail if you get another one. Mr. Sinks, thank you for dressing so respectfully for the court.
You're welcome.
Why is it almost everyone who's worn a tie today has an order of commitment? There's a trend here, a pattern. Mr. Sinks, I sentenced you in October, and I said, no new law violations. If you get a new law violation, it's 29 days in jail.
But this
And now we have a
wasn't mine.
paraphernalia.
I mean, it wasn't even on me. I didn't even know it was in there.
All right, let me read it. Because you are respectful in word and deed today. On October 20th, I was traveling in my marked patrol vehicle. All right, he says you were at a stop sign and that your passenger wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, we had just pulled out of his house.
So how did cocaine get in your vehicle?
I honestly have no idea.
It wasn't like somebody threw it in the window, it was in the console.
That's why that day I removed myself from everybody I hung around. I told them no more. Because I give rides to people, and if they're going to do me like that, then I don't need to be around them.
Yeah, I think. But Mr. Patrick Mr. Arena is the one who was with you that day.
Yes, ma'am.
And he didn't own up to it.
Mm-mm.
And he's the one responsible for getting you stopped.
Yes, ma'am.
But I will hold off on the order of commitment. This happened the very same day I sentenced you.
Yeah.
If I have more information, I may still issue the order of commitment and send you to jail, but right now, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you very much.
Are you going to get a private attorney, or do you need the public defender? How much do you make a week?
About $250.
All right, you're present. I'll appoint the public defender, $250 minimum charge for their services, and you'll need to go make an appointment. Jody Palazo, please. Palazo? Jody Palazo, please. You are charged with driving while license suspended. You didn't appear in August when you were supposed to. Did you get arrested on this?
No, ma'am, I turned myself in.
Well, same
Well, I
difference,
guess it
but
is the same thing, but I did turn myself in. I wasn't aware of a court date on that day. That's why I did not show. If I was aware of a court date, I would have been in front of you on that day.
You were suspended because you're in insurance.
The
Do
gentleman
you have a
who's-
valid driver's license now?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Your insurance lapsed in April, and
I was paid up until,
you did not have insurance after April 9th. They sent you, Tallahassee sent you a letter telling you you do not have insurance and you're going to be suspended as of April the 9th. Go get insurance and bring us proof. You did not do that.
I never received a letter, ma'am.
But you apparently had no insurance between April and September.
I haven't been able to drive my vehicle due to the officer who pulled me over, took
One
my
thing
tag.
has nothing to do with the other. This
Okay.
says you had no insurance between April and August.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
No, it's a very important distinction. If that's wrong, we need to figure it out. It said you had no insurance between April and August.
I
You
haven't
got
renewed
stopped
my, I'm sorry.
in July. So in July, they're saying it was that period of time when you had no insurance, and that's what they charged you with.
Okay.
Being suspended between April and August because you had no insurance.
Okay.
They sent you a letter supposedly in April telling you you were suspended for not having insurance, for not having insurance. Okay, so this appears to be a valid charge. If we've got a mistake, you'll need to tell us, but you've been suspended since April, and then you have a valid license now, or you don't?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, the dates here are peculiar. Mr. Sandor, can you kind of follow the dates? I'm not sure if we can resolve this here today. She got a letter saying she's going to be suspended as of August the 7th for not having insurance. She was stopped July 20th, okay? So she'd already been stopped. She gets a letter saying you'll be suspended August the 7th for not having insurance. Then they say she had continuous coverage. So as of August 7th, she had continuous coverage, but didn't have it on July 20th. Now that's
Right,
a
Your
little,
Honor. I'm not sure what's going on with the insurance issue, but my records indicate that she is initially suspended for failure to pay a traffic fine.
when you didn't pay the traffic ticket in Lake County, they certainly sent you a letter, and I have the date they sent that letter.
I am in the process, I live with my boyfriend now. Mail goes to my parents' house. I am in the process of changing my address.
Hey.
I know it does not matter, but that is,
All right, you got a civil driving while license suspended in March?
May, Your Honor.
That's a 5? Yes, it is. Okay, in May. So in May, you got a civil, so you knew you were suspended, and then in, what'd I say, July, you got another one. You never fixed it between May and July. So this could even be jail time.
Your Honor, the state's offer currently is an adjudication of guilt with 5 days in the Lake County Jail. And additionally, this would habitualize her because of 2 priors in 2008, which does not obviously include the civil that's pending still.
Well, I could go back on one of the civils and withhold. All right, you knew you were suspended because you got a driving while license suspended in May, and then you allegedly drove again in July. That's 5 days in jail is what the state's recommending?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, that would pay your first driving while license suspended without knowledge and the one you're here for today, and I would withhold to keep you from getting habitualized.
Your Honor, if she's adjudicated guilty on the one that's civil from this summer, she would still be habitualized.
Isn't that the one I'm talking about?
Okay, Jerry, the main thing I noticed during that song was you have a lot.
Taken or whatever, she's looking right now.
okay.
We issued a capias because she failed to appear, but then she turned herself in on the capias. And then bonded out again?
out on the KCS.
Yes. That's where I turned myself in. There was a bench warrant.
Okay. Okay, so then there's no problem.
Okay, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, that other one, and I can't. And that your jail time would take care of the other one, and it won't. So you will not be penalized for not going to jail today. It may end up you still do 5 days, but that wasn't our deal.
I know.
So I am not sending you to jail because I'm having to change what I said. Miss Angie caught it, and we're going to try to fix it. I'm going to appoint the public defender because I think down the road, you're going to need some help doing this. She'll be yours, but there's not too much you can talk about right now because she got charged, it's on her record twice for the exact same. So she could be habitualized because of the same thing being there twice. But there's nothing, it was Judge Neal's, nothing I can do about it, but Mr. Graves might be able to do it from above. So that's why we're undoing everything we just, except for I'm still withholding. And we're entering a not guilty and appointing the public defender on the new one. Okay, you're unarrested. Go back out to, well, was that exciting or what?